Hello! If you're watching this video, then it likely means you are trying to run the model Visualizing Ecosystem Land Management Assessments for the first time, or more easily said, VELMA. We're right now watching the VELMA model running, and so the goal of the next few videos is to get you to the point where you are running this simulation or maybe a very similar simulation. Watching this, you're likely in a VELMA workshop or hydrology course of some type, or maybe some type of environmental science course. And so we're not going to dive into the model too deep in this video. This video is all about just getting the model, or not even the model, getting your operating system, your laptop, desktop, wherever you're working on, to the point where you can run the model. So VELMA was developed in Java, and therefore you need to have the Java virtual machine. And so we're going to go away from this and see how we can get Java working. So here is the Oracle website, but before you even get to this, just wanted to put it here in the background so you could see it. But there's a couple things you can do to check. If you're working on a Windows machine, down here in the search you can just type Java. That's one way. Find the About Java. And did I already have one up? Oh, I guess I did. And so here I can see, it might be kind of small. Hopefully it's not too small, and however you're viewing this, but version 8, build 1.8.0. That's one way to do it on a Windows machine. Another way that also lends towards running VELMA and some other associated models with VELMA is through PowerShell, because there's a few versions of VELMA that have to be ran from a PowerShell or a command line. And so in here, if you like working in a command line setting, you would just type in Java space dash version, and then we get the same information just from command line. So this is again 1.8.0. You're shooting for, or what you need, I guess not shooting for, what you need is a Java version greater than 1.7, and so, or 1.7 or greater. And so here 1.8, we're good to go there. If you're working on a Mac, then you can, this is just a random website I found. There's many of them for checking the same settings, but in a Macintosh. So if you go to your system preferences and find Java, if you have it. If you can't find this at all, very likely you don't have Java installed. And then here, they also have 1.8 apparently. So and then similarly, you could go to terminal, which would be the equivalent of a command line like PowerShell. PowerShell is a Windows specific thing, but terminal is a Mac specific thing. And again, type in Java space dash version, exactly the same call, and you get the same information. So if you do that on your machine and it turns up you don't have it at all, then you're going to need to then go to the Java site here and download the type of Java that's appropriate for your operating system. But when you do this, not only do you need to have the correct Java version, which any of the versions here that are the latest will be fine, but you need to download Java and install the appropriate one. Now that likely means if you're on Windows, it would be the 64-bit. But if you're working on a laptop or desktop that's a little bit older, then you might have a 32-bit operating system. A good way to easily check that is do About Your PC. Going into here, so I'm in the settings under the About, which is on my operating system down here at the bottom of all the quick clicks that they got here. And I can see here my system type is a 64-bit operating system based off 64-bit processor. But if you have a 32-bit, then it would say 32-bit, and you would then need to make sure you download the appropriate version of Java. For Macs, you can do a similar thing, which is displayed, I believe. Do they show it here? Also in your system settings, but sometimes on some Macs you need to look at the operating system name type and then go look up in a table. So you have to find a table online that would then correlate the version with the version of the Mac that you have. So it might be an extra step on Macs. I think the latest versions of Macs they just show you as well with the name. But so you just download, like here, 64-bit for Windows, and you have to go search around for the older versions to find 32-bit, the all Java download versions. So yeah, so in this video then, for this video, once you have Java installed and working, then you could test it out with Velma by using the Velma Java jar available that was likely provided. Let me just see if I can find it here. Here we go. So here, these versions were built a little while back now. We have a little bit more later versions, but here normally it'll say JVelma for the Velma model. Normally the date is not tagged on the end when it's built, but I added these dates so I just was aware of when these versions of Velma, JPDM, and Penumbra were built. JPDM is a support model that does flat processing for the terrain for Velma, and then Penumbra is a shade irradiance model that works with Velma. Or I think I said Penumbra. JPDM is flat processing tool for Velma. I think I misspoke there. And Penumbra is, again, the irradiance tool that works with Velma. So, but once you are confident you have Java, or if you then, after you install it, either way, then if you go to this JVelma jar and you just double click on it, then on my other screen this popped up, and then at that point you then know that you have Java working and you're able to then launch Velma or other associated Java tools and start playing with them. And so the following video in this little series will then focus in on loading a pre-built Velma setup for a watershed and then running it, and what to look for, and how to do a couple little steps to make it work locally on your laptop or computer. Thanks.